Before we get started, guys, I want to apologize because I did take a tour through the scrappers, and I think I forgot to hit record because I don't see the video in my list of for my phone and whatnot. Found the other three portions of the video, which are coming up right after this, but I did take a tour through to show like all the cranes, the construction equipment, the giant magnets they pick up the metal with and move it over, the crushers, the compactors, the chippers, as in where they shred the metal, and you just see these giant piles of rusted metal. I think it's probably a good 50, 60 feet high. You don't want to go near that stuff. You don't want that stuff to fall, and you don't want to get, because it's all splintery and sharp. And then you get to see all the dilapidated vehicles that have just been dropped off and stuff. And honestly, a lot of people bring in scrap vehicles there, like cars and stuff that they just don't want anything to do with. And you see the guys driving around with them just after they've been brought to the scrappers. So I'm pretty sure these guys are pretty savvy in fixing these vehicles because you just see them all running around. There's a few of them there that are actually kind of interesting. One's got an acetylene torch in the trunk, and obviously the oxygen side. And in this car, they're both straight up, but there are two holes cut in the trunk, and they just run around cutting stuff up with that car. They've got all sorts of equipment, and this place is like high end, legit. They've got crazy cameras. They just little if you could actually physically take a tour through the place, and a lot of scrappers are like this. This is one of the bigger ones. It's got two scales going in and out. One is labeled for residential. One is labeled for commercial for the big transport trucks. It's just like when you walk through the place, even they have like TVs up showing you where they have all the cameras. Not all of them, obviously, but they just show the average guy in there, the visitor, to see that they're running surveillance all over the place to say, hey, you think twice before you come to our place to steal stuff, because people back in the day, they'd come back in to the site, break in, cut off the catalytic converters, and then sell them back to the site and all that nonsense. And I've sold a few catalytic converters from racing mods, because like the catalytic converter is a an impedance, an exhaust restriction to some of the older vehicles. Now the newer vehicles actually need that, and there's sensors and stuff to make sure you don't circumvent the emission system. But I'm starting to digress here into other territory. But that all being said, catalytic converters can go from $50 from a Jeep to like $400 to $1,000 if you've got like an R8 or something crazy like that, because there are um, there's specific metals inside them, like platinum, for instance, and you don't really want to mess with that. But if you ever open one up, you'll see a honeycomb formation where the exhaust gases have to go through. And a catalytic converter is basically something that uh, changes the chemical reaction, and it never gets used up, but it stays in place. So it's like a catalyst. A lot of people call them the Cadillac converters. I know I used to, but they know they're catalytic converters, and they just take the poisonous gases and they just help them make them be more inert. So if you're ever behind an old school vehicle, and I know I said I was going to digress, I did. You'll smell the fuel in the air. You'll instantly smell it. Whereas you're behind a new age vehicle, you don't smell it as much. And back in the day, nobody really cared because they just felt that okay, this is how the vehicle runs. And typically it is. It smells more very, very rich and whatnot. They're all carbureted, they're all mechanical. These days we're much more efficient. That's why you can get over 700 horsepower out of an engine, whereas back in the day, you'd be lucky to push over 3. And then the 50s and 60s and 70s, people were like lucky to push 5, maybe 600 horsepower. Nowadays, you sneeze and you got 1,000 horsepower. But we're also stretching the components of the engine so far into the red zone. But that's what people want. They want efficiency, they want power, they want everything on demand. If it blows up, they'll just replace it again. But no, the catalytic converters, they purify the exhaust a little bit by having the exhaust gases pass through them, and then again it makes them inert. And that's what's pricey, because they use platinum to do that, which is some of the precious metals that people are desiring. And if you ever saw it, if you ever saw the processes too, you have to look it up on how this works or anything like that, or how it's made. You wouldn't even realize that it's platinum, because everybody thinks platinum, okay, that's like the white gold and whatnot. That's not really the case, but again, I'm digressing. So let's get back to the video. Didn't mean to go on this little bit of a rant. Um, I'm just scrapping what I had at my house, some stuff I had at work, and I'm saying, hey, don't pay twice when you can pay once and actually get some money back.
Hey guys, just on my way to the metal recyclers. And why do I go to the metal recyclers? That's because when you go to the residential dump or whatever the heck it is, they charge you to get rid of your metal, they get rid of your tires and whatnot, and anything else for that matter. But if you only have metal, just haul it all at once to the scrap metal recyclers. They give you pennies on the dollar or whatever it is that you might have, so some fridges and stuff like that. But then you don't have to call anybody, you don't have to haul to the dump or anything like that. And when you go to the dump, like your city dump or whatever it is, like I was saying, they charge you to bring it in, and then they sell it out at a one big bulk price. So they're double dipping in a way. And in that sense, I'm like, you know what? I already paid my taxes. I don't get much back, so I'm just gonna throw it over here with everything else, and I don't have to worry about the chaos of the long. Well, this is for the most part, for the long, dumb lineups that are kilometers long all the way down the road. I hate dealing with that stuff. We already line up enough as it is. So, on my way to work, get rid of it.
I wasn't allowed to actually take a video of me getting rid of the stuff at the scrapyard. I'm just tossing it off, and I take the tires up the way, and they just take them as they are. Doesn't matter, whatever it is.
So apparently it came to 50 pounds, so I got $50. A lot better than paying it out. So that's actually pretty high. Oh yeah, that's because of the battery. Never mind. And I bought some things for work.
Hey guys, back from work. It's Friday night. That was done Thursday morning, and I tied it into when I was going into work. So Wednesday night, I loaded up all their extra metal, and I loaded up my extra metal, strapped it all down so nothing would get, everything was just secure. So it didn't matter if I had to slam on the brakes or if I had to give it some gas to move out of the way of somebody, whatever it was. So I got there safely and secure. And the reason why I do this, and I doubled it up again, like with going into work, at the same time I'm getting rid of my stuff, I'm getting rid of their stuff and picking up some precious metals for them. So I'm double and tripling things up to get one thing accomplished overall. And that's just cleaning up. So cleaning up the work site, cleaning up my personal home site, all that. Now, the reason why I'm making this such a big point is when you go to the residential dump, they'll charge you for anything you bring in there. So that, like your tires, your metal, say you bring in biological stuff like leaves and branches and things of that nature. In the beginning, they don't charge for that because they're going to chip it all up. But if they get overloaded, they will start charging for that. The same with well, actually no, they stopped doing this recently because guess they realized people will dump it into the marshlands and stuff or the water or in just their back 40. And I'm talking about household hazardous chemicals or chemicals from like a workshop and stuff. They realize that people are dumb and they will just get rid of it because they don't want to pay for the money. So they don't care about the generations after. I do personally. Now, so they'll accept that stuff free. Then again, your papers and your recyclables, they all have bins for that stuff free, compactors outside. At least mine does anyways. But they will charge you for the metal. So you're going to pay to get rid of your metal. Then they're going to wholesale it to scrappers or whatever. So they're going to get paid twice. So to me, when I'm doing this for work, I'm going to take it to the scrappers and I'll get rid of the metal, and then and I don't care about my stuff. I'll just put it into the pot for work and whatnot, because work does me a lot of favors. So the couple pennies that I'm giving away, I'm going to get back in the end. But the tires, they'll take at cost. So you don't have to worry about removing them from the rims. They'll do that themselves. They'll call a tire recycler to come in and haul all the tires away. And I'm pretty sure tire recyclers actually leave bins there for them to fill up. As far as the rims go, they get crushed or melted down or chipped. So a lot of times they get chipped, and you see these giant piles of rusted metal, and all that stuff goes back into the industry, like making car parts and making all sorts of stuff. That's why metal these days is already has built-in rust, because they don't ever filter that stuff out. So those cars that you see in the lots of all these cars, you'll find rust everywhere on them, because yeah, paint's gotten a lot better these days, but the rust is still in the metal, and that's why things rot so fast compared to the old cars of the 50s and 60s and whatnot, where you can see them in the fields forever, and they don't look that bad. They just got patina, whereas like most cars these days are plastic anyways, but they rot out. Everything rots out and quick. But the moral of the story is, be smart about what you're getting rid of when you're cleaning stuff up. What I like to do is I will, all the car parts I get rid of, like brake rotors and, like, say, some engine components, exhaust components, stuff like that. I throw it all into a corner because I can. I have the extra little bit of space, or I put it into a what do you call it, trailer, and I try to keep it as nice as possible, keep it all tarped off so my neighbors don't complain. But and at the end of the year, I'll get a couple $100 for that, and it doesn't cost me anything just to leave it in the corner for a year and then get rid of it. Now, I have friends in the HVAC industry, in the furnace and air conditioning industry, and they keep all the stuff in their garage. And at the end of the year, even electricians, they'll keep all the extra wires, like all the cutoffs and stuff. And then the plumbers, they keep all their pipes and stuff. Not so much these days because everything's PEX, but they do keep all the copper and brass and things of that nature. And at the end of the year, they'll get rid of it all at the scrappers. And then they have, like, say, a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, depending on how popular they are, how much work they have to do, and they'll use that money to take their family on a vacation. I have a friend, I got a guy, I was gonna say, who does everything from furnaces and air conditioning units, and he, at the end of the day, like at the end of the year, he probably has around $6,000 to $7,000 in scrap that he just gets rid of. And all it is old motors, old condensing and conditioner units, all sorts of stuff like that. Sometimes some stuff he gets rid of that's almost brand new. And he actually gave me a heater unit for the shed, which then I got rid of. But then I'm like, oh, maybe I should have kept that. Dang it. Because I was getting rid of stuff, and it was actually in the original box and everything. It worked perfectly. I think it was 240 or whatever the heck it is. And so it's dual phase, not single phase, which is 110. And I'm kind of like, that could have been awesome in the shed. Anyways, long story short, you can save money up with just scrap metal. Nobody wants this stuff around because it's all nasty and gnarly and gross. But at the end of the day, if you have space for it, it's like a mini savings account, if you will. And all you have to do at the end of the year is clear it all out. So if you ever got a vacant space, a shed, a bin, whatever it is, an old rusty trusty that you're just going to fill it up with metal and call the scrapper and get it towed away, there's a couple $100 in your pocket, and then your property looks really good. So that's something that I do every now and again, and it's just because in the process of me doing all these other jobs, I can just throw that stuff to the side, and then eventually I'll get rid of it all. Now, I don't do it as much as I used to, because this used to be a lot of fun for me. These days, I just want to get rid of it. I don't care anymore. But I like I just like doing it, actually. There was no real reason for it. I remember when I was about to get rid of some stuff, and then went away for 2 weeks to the U.S., South Carolina. And before I came back, Mom was saying, I'm getting all these messages and notes on our door. Like, your trailer's full of metal. People want to take it away and bring the trailer back. I'm just laughing. I'm like, that's my savings. Don't let them do it. But it's just funny. And then we get notes every now and again with scrappers coming by. It's like, hey, you got some washer dryers, you got some fridges, whatever it is, leave it by the side of the road, call us, let us know, and we'll come pick it up, take it off your property. Scrappers can make a lot of money really quickly, depending on what time of year it is. Usually it's spring when everybody puts things out by the side of the road. Not so much now because of COVID, because nobody wants to pick up anything. Everybody's all scared and whatnot, and you got to be safe. So just, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, wear your mask, wear your gloves, do everything like that. Throw the stuff in the back, and just when you got to get rid of it, hit the reverse real quick, full throttle, hit the brakes, slam it down. The stuff will just shoot out the back into the pile, and you'll get your money right as rain. That all being said, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, be safe, keep your property clean. I'm working on cleaning mine as we speak, and it is looking fantastic out there. I'm not making many videos about it because it's not really that entertaining. Just like this video is really not that entertaining. I just felt like doing it just to say, hey, clean up your property while you can, and you'll be amazed at how much space you have. I just walked through it, and I was actually able to walk behind my shed. Like, it's just me removing branches and brush and stuff. And I got to get my chipper going, and I'm really excited about that, although I'm not so sure about the engine working because I was pulling it over and it didn't seem like it wanted to fire. It didn't seem like it had compression. But that's another video for another day. So you guys take care. Peace!